10, this is a Zoning Board of Appeal meeting. On the agenda, we have a couple items for continue, and then we have a couple new business that I will call in that orders. I may probably take the continuing number 3 and put it off till maybe last. For a number of reasons, I'll tell you why as we get to that number. First on the agenda for continue is ZB-2009-0001110, petition for variance. Applicant is Draper Edward T. Draper Allies. The address is on 208 Troughton Park Road. This petition to subdivide the existing lot and construct a single family without required footage, according to Article Section 5.1, Table of Dimension Requirement. I know that we do receive corresponding from the petitioner. I would ask Mr. Clerk, Mr. Belancho, to read that corresponding into record, and we will vote on that tonight.
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Chairman. We do have a letter from the petitioner requesting to withdraw the petition. It is addressed to the Lowell Zoning Board. It's I, Alice Draper, am withdrawing my petitions regarding 206 and 208 Troughton Park Road. Due to information received from the Planning Board regarding these proposals, more work is needed in order for these proposals to be approved. I am also requesting that I may, at a later date, have the right to resubmit these requests. I thank the board for their time and consideration in this matter and hope that you will grant me the right to resubmit these petitions at a later time. So I certainly see it clear to withdraw this petition, Mr. Chairman. So with that being said, I'll make a motion to withdraw without prejudice.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second the motion.
Madam Clerk, could you have a roll call on that, please?
Approve.
Approve the withdrawal.
Withdraw without prejudice.
Withdraw without prejudice.
Second item on the agenda for continuing is also ZBA 2009-23 petition type of variance. The same location, that is 206 and 208 Troughton Park Road. Petition to maintain an existing single family in insufficient street footage as required by Article Section 5.1 of the Zoning Ordinance, Table of Dimension Requirements. Also, in this petitioner also submit a corresponding same petitioner. I'm going to ask Mr. Clerk Belancho to please read it into the record again before we vote.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's the same letter that does apply for both petitions. So that letter will be submitted in for the record. So with that being said, I'll make a motion to withdraw without prejudice 206 and 208 Troughton Park Road.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Withdraw without prejudice.
Withdraw without prejudice.
Withdraw without prejudice.
Withdraw without prejudice.
The next item on the agenda is ZB 2009-17, petition type for special permit. The applicant is B3 Development Brian Logus. The address is located on 63 Barnum Ave. The petition is to expand the legal non-conform use of an existing two-family to a three-family according to Section 4.5.2 of the Zoning Ordinance, non-conforming use. The representative of the petitioner, in this case, could you please come to the podium? I know this is a continue. I know that there's attorney present in this matter from the previous meeting. I'm going to give the attorney some time to arrive, and then we call that again, and then we will take action on that. But just so you know, if those of you are here on these petitions, that we also get corresponding a recommendation from our law department advised us not to take any action on this. Because I want to give the attorney the time to arrive here, maybe 10, 20 minutes. And if he's not here, and then I'll call this back on, and then we'll vote on it, maybe to adopt the recommendation of the law department to take no action on this. If you all here on this, please be patient. I thank you. New business, ZB-2009-32, petition type for special permit, St. Lee Snack Corporation, located at 110 University Avenue, petition to internally illuminated projected sign for Egg Roll Cafe, according to the sign regulation section 6.3.2.9 and section 6.3.2.14, sign regulations of the zoning ordinance. Could I have the petitioner, in this case, come to the podium and present your case? Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, my name is Michael Kitt, and I am the treasurer of St. Lee Snacks, and we've been operating our business at 110 University Ave for almost over 4 years now. And one of the issues that we've been having is that nobody recognizes us as they drive by the VFW or even when they're walking on North Campus at UMass Lowell. So one of the things that would help to attract a little more foot traffic as terms of, and also provide more visibility for our cafe and our establishment there, is to have an illuminated sign which hangs perpendicular to the street so that folks can see us from the VFW or from the University Ave classrooms there. So it would be a very big help for us to get that type of visibility. So that's why we had proposed this to the zoning board.
Thank you, sir. Those of you here interested or in favor of this petition would like to speak, could you please come to the podium? Hearing none, those of you here in opposition of this petition, would you like to express that? Please come to the podium. Hearing none, let me turn to my fellow board members. Mr. Benvenu, you have any input or comment on that, sir?
Yes, basically this is taking the place of the flat sign that's on the face of this building, correct?
This won't be replacing the flat sign. This will be in addition to it. The flat sign serves a purpose if you're facing the cafe, but this will be, like I said, perpendicular to University Ave to attract folks who are walking up and down the sidewalks.
All right. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the building commissioner. Is that allowed for the two signs to be on that building, Bob?
If he meets the criteria for square footage and frontage, it would.
Okay, I was just asking, that's all. I just don't want to have two signs out there. And it's going to be illuminated. Can you, what time on, what time off? Will you be turning it on and turning it off?
We'd like to have it on all the time, but if that's going to pose an issue, we could turn it off as we leave, which is we close at 10:30 every night. And then we open at 7 a.m. in the morning, but it wouldn't be effective to leave it on, so we probably won't turn it on again until it's dark, which is about 5 or 6.
So you wouldn't be opposed to turning it off at 11 o'clock at night then?
No, sir.
Okay. No other questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Belanger. Sir.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so to echo Mr. Bienvenu's question, so the you have a signage there currently with gooseneck lights on it, so that's going to remain?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I kind of agree with you. I don't think that is quite adequate, what you need there. It is difficult knowing you're there. I have to agree with you, and we're here to help you on that matter. But your hours of operation, I definitely don't want this thing on all night. I mean, yes, it's University Avenue. It's heavily congested. It's very residential there. I mean, it's mostly college kids, but still, if it's going to be internally illuminated, I would see it clear to support you, but no later than 11 p.m. I think would be suffice. So,
yes, sir.
With that being said, Mr. Chairman, I could see it clear to grant the special permit to help this gentleman's business out.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bailey, sir.
Mr. Chairman, before I speak, administratively, did you mention about we only have 4 members tonight? Okay.
I have yet to do that. I do appreciate Mr. Bailey. Mr. Michael Kidd, the petitioner in this case. I just want to let you know that this petition, if you like to continue on this, we will do it. But if you want to still go through with this, you need all 4 vote in order for this petition to be approved. You
Yes,
understand
sir.
that?
I understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bailey, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. No, the only comment I would make, I fully support the petitioner's application. A small businessman, he's established himself and he's trying to grow his business, and I can appreciate trying to get more foot traffic in there, so I fully support the petition.
I do concur with my fellow board members that is a decent request. The hours of operations, this sign need to be turned off by, as Mr. Belanger indicated, and Mr. Benvenue, so that is 11 o'clock will be the turn-off sign. The light should be turned off by then. So with that, I'm going to turn to my fellow board member if they'd like to make a motion to approve this petition.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve with the following condition, that the signage be turned off no later than 11 p.m.
Do I hear a second, sir?
Second the motion.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Approved with condition.
Approve with conditions.
Approved with condition.
Approve with conditions.
You've been approved with all 4 votes. If you could please come here and sign this, you're all set to go. Actually, you have to wait 20 days. The next petition on the agenda is ZB 2009-33, a special permit and variant for sign. Applicant is Lowell General Hospital, located under 190 Warnham Ave. The petition for the construction of internal illuminations of oversized 3-side directional off-premise monument sign for Lowell General Hospital pursuant to Section 6.3.2 sign regulation of the zoning ordinance. Mr. Faust, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Fred Faust, 52 Lawrence Drive in Lowell. I'm representing Lowell General Hospital for the purpose of describing to you the request for this sign and the need for a special permit and a variance. If I could, I'd like to pass around a set of plans.
You may, sir.
Can I show this as we go? Okay. For the record, I passed to the board a larger set of plans. I think you have this for the record, but it shows a 3-sided internally illuminated sign. If you're familiar with this area as you're driving down Pawtucket Boulevard, going to the Regatta Field, et cetera, the turn and the beginning of Varnum Avenue is to your right. There's a triangular piece of land there that's owned by the state, by Department of Environmental Management. There is an unlighted sign presently which directs people to the hospital, but the concern of the hospital is that there have been problems with getting emergency vehicles and people in an emergency situation who may not be familiar with that location to Varnum Avenue and up to the hospital. This sign is in conformance with the signs at the main campus of Lowell General Hospital, and if you see on the second page, the sign facing, if you're coming from basically the direction of McDonald's and going towards further down the boulevard, you're first seeing the sign that shows on the front of this page, which directs you to both the main entrance and the emergency room area. And then there's the same sign coming from the other direction, which directs you to take a left-hand turn. And finally, there's a third sign that directs people to the Rourke Bridge and Route 3, as well as downtown Lowell. So this is basically a single triangular sign on a brick stand that would be internally illuminated in the evening hours. I also passed along to you a memo from Donna Hearn and Ray Hogue, the chair and co-chair of the Pawtuckettville Citizens Council. I haven't been involved fully with this process, so I understood that they're here. Okay. And they had indicated their support. The hospital has worked with the neighborhood group, and the hospital's worked closely with Diane Trad also. And I think you have in your packet a memorandum from DPD, which indicates there was an extensive review and design process consultation, and that the DPD had input into this signage design and construction. So that's basically a summary of the intent. It's to get emergency vehicles and customers and clients of the hospital to the right entrance and to the emergency room entrance, which is actually, as you probably know, beyond the initial entrance to the hospital. This has been an extensive process because the land is owned by the state, and due to the fact that this is in a residential zone, the special permit is needed, and because of the internal illumination, a variance is needed as far as I understand, and I'm sure the building commissioner could correct me if I've made any misstatements here.
Anything also?
No, sir.
Thank you. Those of you who are here like to speak in favor of this petition, could you please come up to the podium and sign your name and address for us, please? Mr. Hearn. You first, Mr. Hearn.
My name is Richard Souza. I am a former chairman and co-chairman of the Pawtuckettville Citizens Council, and we have worked this particular issue with Win Carlson, no offense, but we worked it with him for a number of years. We're fully aware of it, and by the letter that the current administration has sent, we fully approve of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else like to speak, sir? Oh, ma'am.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm the chairman of Pawtucket Citizen Council, and myself and Ray Hogue, Wynn Brown, who's in charge of all the signage and so on and so forth, and everything on the campus at Lowell. General always informs us. He's always been at our meetings to let us know what's going on in the campus. They informed us about the sign, and they presented it at the Pawtucket Citizens Council. We had no questions with it. Myself and Ray Hogue, as a co-chairman, went up to see that nothing was changed from any of it. It's all back illuminated. The property could only be improved by landscaping and this sign, which I know Lowell General will take care of. And we really fully approve of this motion.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else like to speak? Please come up, ma'am.
I'm Ellen Mahoney. I live at 167 Varnum Ave. How could I not be in support of people being able to get to the hospital? However, as you just commented with the previous gentleman who had an illuminated sign in a neighborhood, this will illuminate my bedrooms 24 hours a day. And I'm wondering how tall the sign is, if it can be set in such a place that it would be respectful of my
I assume you haven't seen it yet, ma'am.
No.
Mr. Fowl, maybe you can show Ms. Mahoney.
Does it have the dimensions?
The dimensions are here. And if I could point out, a lot of internally illuminated signs would have a white background, which would generate a lot of light. This is reversed out to minimize the amount of light, so that the only light that will be generated from this sign are the cutout letters. So it hopefully is respectful, but we'd be glad to share more details with you.
Thank you. I
You,
just,
you may continue, Ms. Mahoney. Anything else you want to add to that?
no, so, you know, I respect my neighborhood association and the hospital. I just want to say I do live there, and we have bedrooms that face that particular corner.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Is there anyone else like to speak in favor of this petition? Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone here like to speak in opposition of this petition? Please come up. Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. I'll turn to my fellow board member if they do have any questions. Mr. Banview, sir?
Mr. Chairman, I think I'd like to ask a question. Mr. Fauci, I'm assuming you wish to go forward knowing you need a unanimous vote this evening.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right, sir. Mr. Banview, sir?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think this is a great idea out there to get the traffic to go where it's supposed to go. The question I have is around the sign at the base, we gonna do any landscaping around there? Any,
Yes, thank you. Actually, I should have brought that up, but there is an agreement with the state, and that entire area will be landscaped and maintained by the hospital.
so there will be flowers and stuff around the base and stuff, just not green grass?
Yes.
Okay. And I know the young lady had thinking about it might be too bright. We will work with the neighbors just in case it is. I don't think it's gonna be because it's blue background, it's just white letters, not that much actual
Yeah.
wattage in the unit itself, only 400 watt bulb, so.
I think Mr. Brown and the sign designer would be more than happy to meet with any of the abutters or through the citizens and make sure that in terms of the direction of the sign and the internal illumination, that any impact is minimized. So I think I can make that commitment on behalf of the hospital if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you. I'm in favor of this, Mr. Chairman. This is a great thing for the hospital over there.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Valencio, sir?
Yes, sir, you, Mr. Chairman. I'm also in agreement with Mr. Bienvenu. I think Lowell General did an outstanding job in communications with the residents of Pawtucketville and the city in Lowell, and everybody happens to be on hand tonight, so I'm very pleased with that. Secondly, this is great. I think this is long overdue. I mean, Lowell General's been a community partner for a long, long time, a staple in the city for many, many years, and we all know they're there, but the hundreds of daily visitors and staff that go there every day do not, and this will give them the guidance they need. So, again, this is long overdue, Mr. Chairman. I support it overwhelmingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bailey, sir?
The only comment I would make, Mr. Chairman, is I agree with my fellow board members on everything that's been said tonight, and I wish the hospital nothing but good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Mahoney, I do entrust that Mr. Faust will address any issue, concern that you may have. And I also, you probably knew this already, that you have very active neighborhood association in Pawtucketville, so they'll take care of you as well. I too will support this petition. It's long overdue. I'd like to hear motions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second, sir?
Second the motion.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
So you can approve of all four votes. Please sign. Come up here and sign, sir. Thank you. Right. I'm going to call the petition that was on a continue that I skipped. That is ZB-2009-17, petition type special permit, B3 Development Brian Logus, located at 63 Barnum Ave. That is petition to expand the legal nonconform use of the existing two-family to a three-family according to section 4.5.2 of the zoning ordinance nonconform use. Is the petitioner or the representative of the petitioners is here like to address the board? Still not here. Well, we did a few weeks ago receive corresponding from the law department recommended that this board of zoning board take no action on this petition. Therefore, plus the fact that the petitioners is not here. I will entertain motions to adopt the recommendation of the Law Department tonight, that we take no action on it.
Yes, sir, you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly agree with that. We received the correspondence 2 weeks ago. There was no representative then representing B3 Development, and here we are 2 weeks from then, and there's nobody here tonight to represent it. So, but I would like to communicate a little bit with the neighborhood. You're all here, and we thank you for coming. It appears that this thing is temporarily dead in the water. There's nobody here to represent them, obviously. So at this point, Mr. Commissioner, if we may be so bold, is this thing dead at this point?
Let's take a minute break, as our secretary need to take an emergency break. To just suspend this for 1 minute. We do apologize for this.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, can we take a 5-minute recess?
Yes, we take a recess. Thank you, Mr. Blanchard. 5-minute recess, and we will reconvene after this. All right, good evening, sir. We are back on record. Oh. Prior to the recess, we will add the petitions for continue. That is the applicant B3 Development, Brian Locust. My fellow board members will make a motion for recommendation of the law department. For those of you who are here tonight on these petitions, the representative of this petition is not here, and we do have a recommendation from the law department. That recommendation will be adopted, and Mr. Belancho will read that so that fellow board member can vote on it. That more or less meaning the deny of this petition tonight. Or do you who are here have any questions? You can come up to the podium, sir.
Hi, my name is Richard Souza. I live at 101 Ursula Street.
Yes, Mr. Souza.
How long will they have before they can bring this petition forward if you deny it now?
If we deny tonight, Mr. Commissioner can help me on this, but I'll say 2 years. Is that correct, Mr. Commissioner?
I believe so, but there's two issues here. One of the issues being if it's denied, they may have the right to appeal. That needs to be looked into, but basically, the interpretation of the zoning regulations by the law department states that this board does not have the authority to grant the request for a change of use.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Souza. Any other questions that you may have before we take a vote on this, sir? Ma'am? All right. Yes, ma'am, please come up to the podium, ma'am. Please state your name and address, ma'am.
Deb Forgione, 97 Townsend Avenue. If you don't have the power to change the zoning, and the law department says you don't, who do they go to get that change?
They can appeal it, I believe, to Superior Court judge. Is that correct, Mr. Commissioner?
Superior Court, Massachusetts?
And Lowell Superior Court.
Okay.
Well, we're looking at a couple of things here. If you're talking about changing zoning regulations, there's a process in place primarily through the Division of Planning and Development in which they look at that, they review it, and it's voted on at City Council, okay? This board, I believe, does not have the authority to change zoning, but to grant variances and special permits.
Special permit, yes, sir.
My understanding from the law department is the interpretation of the zoning regulations that pertain to this particular petition state their interpretations that this board does not have the authority to grant the change of use, and it's pretty definitive.
So the next step would be Superior Court and then City Council?
I believe if the petitioner wishes to appeal this board's decision, I believe they would have to take it to court, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let me turn to Mr. Belancho, the clerk. He wants to read the motions into record.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion to deny the petitioner's request regarding the change of use due to the fact that the board does not have the authority to grant this request for a change of use.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second the motion.
All right, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Deny.
Deny?
Deny.
Deny.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I guess this is directed to the building commissioner. If they do decide to take this to Superior Court, is there a mechanism in place that the neighborhood group would know about that?
I would assume that if they do go to court, somehow they would have to notify the city, either directly through the building department or the city clerk. At that point in time, I don't think there's a public announcement if that is appealed.
Okay.
Although somehow we may get notified. This doesn't happen often, but it does occur.
Okay.
Right now, that's the best answer I could give you, because I'm not sure they would be required to notify the abutters.
So that would come through the building department?
either the building department or the city clerk. But we'll be tracking this, and your association are free to contact my office at any time,
Okay,
because if it is appealed, we'll be notified.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Souza. Thank you all for being here on these petitions. The next on the agenda is other business. That is ZB-2006-47. This is an administrative review of a previous grant relief. Ann Barton is the applicant. The property located under or at 251 Mount Vernon Street. Ms. Barton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. If I may, I have a brief update I'd like to pass out.
Ms. Barton, so you know that you need all 4 votes tonight if you want to go forward on this, right? All right. As long as you understand. Thank you. Ms. Barton, I noticed that you gave us an update of a memorandum. Would you like to do a brief synopsis of that, please?
Yes, it is brief, and I feel better this evening at least reporting to you that we've made some significant progress since I was here last 6 months ago. We did complete the environmental reports that were underway and hampered by some of the winter conditions, and the environmental consultant has drafted an activity and use limitation, and there is survey ongoing that will define this site as an individual parcel that will separate it from the overall site as a whole that's defined as the Stocklosis School site. With an AUL defined for 251 Mount Vernon Street, it also requires that the city revise the existing AUL for the entire school site. So there's quite a bit of complex environmental work and reporting required. The report that was provided did conclude that the site can be used for the purposes intended by the parties affected by the relocation, and that is musicians' rehearsal studios. Certain uses would be restricted by the AUL and would require evaluation by an LSP to render an opinion and comply with DEP regulations if other uses were looked at. At this time, the Law Department is reviewing the draft AUL, and unfortunately, we had to reschedule a meeting that we had for last week to tomorrow, so I had hoped to have more information, but we will discuss the strategy for discussing the AUL with the Turco's attorneys, because there are some pieces of it that they have questions on. So I would respectfully request that you allow us 90 days to go through that process, and we could come back for a review at that time if it would be acceptable to the board. We should have a lot more information by then.
You mean for us to postpone this until after you have this, the DPD on a meeting on August 11?
A postponement would be fine, because that would really let me know in what direction we're going with the parties, the Turcos, relative to the AUL and any restrictions, because it is somewhat of still a negotiation process in their eyes. So a postponement would work well for us.
All right, I'd like to hear my fellow board members comment on it if they want to be comment on it. Mr. Bailey, sir, with the issue of postponement and that stuff.
I guess the only question I'll ask is, so is the city pretty much waiting for the law department to review this latest set of conditions? Is that kind of...
The draft AUL is, I've reviewed it, and they've had it now for a little while to review. Unfortunately, there was something came up last week. It's the first assistant solicitor, Kim McMahon, Attorney McMahon, that's assigned to this. So tomorrow we'll discuss a definitive plan and going forward with our discussions with the attorneys for the parties that wish to occupy the building and own it eventually.
So do you have a higher level of confidence that in 90 days you're pretty much going to be in a position to tell us what direction you are going?
I think so. We can conclude those discussions with the attorneys hopefully in 90 days and have a fit time frame for their work on the building.
The last thing I would probably ask, would you be submitting anything to the board, say you come back in 90 days, would we receive anything prior to whatever date is set up for you to come before us?
If you wanted some information, if I had something to update you, if, let's say, we concluded our discussions in 30 or 45 days, I could certainly provide the board with that report.
Mr. Vice Chair, I'd recommend that if we could get some type of, I guess, documentation that we could review. I know you've come before us a few different times, and I can't really say I've seen much in documentation to kind of get my arms around, but that would be my recommendation,
I
Mr.
think
Vice Chair.
Mr. Bailey recommendations is, is worthwhile. That would be helpful for all of us board members to, if there's any progress, to go through it prior to the meeting so that we have a better grasp as to, whether or not, to grant it, continue or approval on this at all. And I know that for some board members, we are really frustrated with this project as it's very, very slow going forward. And, so let me hear from other board members. Mr. Belanger, sir.
Yes, to you, Mr. Chairman. Now, Ann, is the property still targeted for studios for musicians? Is that the intent still at this point? Or?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. And there's this series of environmental issues, even though with that kind of use, huh?
I wouldn't call them serious. It's just really complicated, and I think that if I do provide you with copies of the reports, you'll be able to see that. As you know, the entire school site was a contaminated site, and the city was fortunate through its brownfields showcase community designation to be able to put a lot of resources to that. And we conducted a cleanup to very high levels, but it involves a lot of reporting and tracking by DEP, so we're guided by all of that. And to carve this parcel out and make it its own separate individual parcel to be sold or transferred ownership required an awful lot of work. So there aren't any risks. In fact, the report goes through a risk assessment and will concluded that there is no risk associated with this. But if you go to do something different, then you would need a licensed site professional to give an opinion on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, the city has a lot of time and resources invested in this, and I certainly want to see it come into fruition. We're approaching 6 years now, I believe. But things do take time, but I'm confident in your ability and your department to get the job done, and if you say there's light at the end of the tunnel here, I'm going to have faith in you. So I do see a clear support. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belanger. Mr. Benville, sir, any comments, sir?
Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Ian, the lot next door to the building,
Yes.
if you're facing the building to the left, does that belong, is that going to go with that building? Do we own
No.
that lot?
No, the settlement agreement that was reached with the Turcos involved a parking easement, and they would have use of 10 spaces for limited hours, and it would be the non-school hours. And then there is a certain number of permanent spaces. It may be as many as 10 that they could use. I'd have to look at that again, I apologize. But there is a parking easement associated with it. And there is some time limit to the spaces.
So the city owns that lot then,
The
correct?
city owns that lot. It is essentially part of the school site. It is somewhat utilized. I've been monitoring that in the event, the school department had an issue with some of that, but I think with the time restriction off hours, that it should not be an inconvenience to them. There's really limited use of that parking lot.
Because the reason was, there was 2 dump trucks on that property for the longest time, and it seemed like we inquired about them, but nobody knew what to do with them, who owned them, or who the lot belonged to because of the legal process that we're trying to go through over there. And they stayed there for, I'd say, at least a year. I could be wrong, but I
I
felt like...
saw them. I don't know if it was a year, but I spotted that as well, and I really wasn't sure what it was associated with, if it was a school department person, and I assume not. They're gone now.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the big question. Are the Turcos paying us rent for what we're giving them on Rock Street, or is that part of the situation?
No, part of the settlement was that they would occupy that space during the time that we solidified this. So I share your frustration with the length of time this has taken, absolutely. We never anticipated this kind of time frame. However, they do take care of water, sewer, utility, and they did do a certain bit of fit-out to that building. And they've been able to operate there without any other costs.
Now, did they want the building, or is it, I've been involved with it, Annie. I worked with you on it
Yeah.
also, working on it when I was an inspector here, so I mean, it's been 2003, and do they want the building, or, I mean, we're extending a lot here for these people, and it seems like they just,
We have, and, you know, I will admit, this was a midnight hour resolution to a problem to move that school project forward. And it was something that we had to reach an agreement on, and they have at least expressed their interest in it. They do have an architect. We have met with the architect, so they have taken some of their steps. And then I think, really, to answer your question there, I will know more when we discuss this further, now that we've gotten to this step with their attorneys, whether in fact they intend to move on this or if we're just sort of going back and forth here.
I mean,
At any rate, I would want the board to know that it is a piece of property that doesn't really have a use unless we go through all these steps. So even if something happened to this agreement in the end, by doing all this environmental work and separating it out as a parcel, it's potentially a parcel and a building we could put back on the tax roll somehow at some time.
the 90-day extension, I wouldn't have a problem, as long as you come back to us with some information, and whether they're gonna take it or not, or where we stand. I mean, obviously, again, they've been having free rent over there for 6 years.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to find out that they're either gonna take it, or if they're not, then they have to either start paying rent or do something for us, the city. I mean, I think it's like you said, we can't use the building unless it goes through the cleanup and so on, but, you know, their feet should be put to the fire and say, hey, you're in or out.
I agree.
And I think the use they have for it is a pretty good use, to be honest,
Yeah.
so.
We've had no problems at Rock Street, so that's been a good indication.
Correct, it's very well run. He's
Yeah.
a good businessman, I give him that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benview. Is there anyone here who...
Mr. Chairman, members of the zoning board of appeals, for the record, my name is Mark Ullman, 58 Oakland Street, Lowell, Mass. Wish to be recorded in favor of you granting this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else like to speak in favor or opposition of this petition? Hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. And motions to, there's a motion on the table right now to allow Ms. Bond an additional 90 days to complete the city review and discussion. She will come back in 90 days before us with some progress, one way or the others. Do I hear a motion on that, to allow a 90 days to complete city review and discussion?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion to grant a 90-day extension to reaffirm the special permit and variance that was granted December 2003.
Do we hear a second on that?
Well, before I second it,
Yes, sir.
can I, again, I'm coming back to, I would like to see something before the 90 days, so I'd like to have as a condition, I
With
guess.
condition, right.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, I will get the reports, what
great.
we have so far together for you.
Yep, great. So I'll,
Can we get a full report, that's all, before it comes in front of us? That'd be a nice thing to get a
That's-
full
A
report.
full report within 30 days?
If we can get that in.
Yes. Mr. Bailey, is that sufficient? Within
yeah, 30 days is fine, so.
Okay, I'll rewrite that. Make a motion to grant a 90-day extension to reaffirm the special permit and variance granted December on 2003. The following condition that we get a full report from the City of Lowell Planning and Development within 30 days.
Second the motion.
Second. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
So approve extension with conditions.
Approved with conditions.
Approve extension with condition.
Approve with conditions.
Ms. Bond, been approved.
Thank you very much.
Vote. Thank you, Ms. Bond. There is a minute to be approved if we have a chance to review it.
Yes, I think we all have, Mr. Chairman. With that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for March 23rd, 2009, and April 13th, 2009.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This hearing is adjourned for tonight. Thank you.